I just ordered a bunch of new keychains, including some restocks, and wanted to bring you guys along for some of the quality checking, but also just a talk about manufacturing and what goes on behind the scenes with an artist like this who has to put their art on something and then have it produced, which is pretty much every artist who makes products like this. So these are acrylic keychains that have a special holographic, like glittery effect on them. And I ordered these from a manufacturer who is in China. Why China, you may ask? There are a lot of products that the US just doesn't make, and there are a lot of reasons for that. I think the biggest thing is that we don't have the infrastructure or the people to work in a lot of these factory type of settings, and they have so many specialties. They have a lot of factories that make just one specific product, and I don't think you really think about it until you start to make something and start looking for options, and then you'll quickly realize how limited things are in the US. So I know that there are some keychain makers in the US, but they don't have these really fun clasps. They don't offer the holographic details, and they are kind of boring to be honest. Like, it's like they can make it like plastic, but then like the little hook here is ugly and the ring is just like a circle ring. So it just doesn't have as much personality in my opinion, which really sucks. So there's that. And then also the pricing is typically a lot higher for less options. And I noticed that the manufacturers who do make similar keychains to this are usually middlemen who order the products for you from China or Asia. So they might be located in the US, but what they're doing is they're taking your order and accepting payment in the US, but then turning around and going to their manufacturer in China or Korea and having them produce the product and then shipping it to you. So that would also make the product take a lot longer to get to you because there is a middle person. And it's kind of frustrating because they're not actually the ones making your products. So if you are trying to communicate with the production team, I think that adds a lot of extra delay as well. So those are the main reasons for the differences in production. And I know that a lot of people are talking about this right now because of the looming US tariff changes, which is awful because it's going to put people out of business all over the world. Like, it's going to globally affect so many businesses, so many individuals who create, sell, produce things. So it is a very uncertain time right now with things like this, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to get this order on time because I didn't know if this order was going to get stuck in transit or if I was going to have to pay tariffs on it, because I have heard some people say that their recent orders have already gotten taxed, and since I had already placed this order months ago, I wasn't sure where it was going to get hung up, but luckily it didn't. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to order from them again, knowing that tariffs for China are what, like 145% according to the Tax Foundation website right now. So yeah, I have no idea what's gonna happen to so many of my products, and luckily a lot of my vendors are in the US, but the problem is most of our supplies are outsourced from other countries. So even if my vinyl sticker makers are in the US, their ink or their paper machinery could be sourced from other countries. So I am expecting a lot of increases. I just don't know what to expect quite yet. And that's the main reason I haven't announced anything on my socials, because I'm sort of just waiting it out and seeing what happens before making any changes or I guess discontinuing anything. I do use some vendors in Canada. I had to stop that as well. And even my US vendors, I'm already paying a significant amount for shipping for some of them. I just ordered a bunch of notepads and I paid $200 for shipping. They're in the US, and books and like paper products are heavy, so I understand that that could cost a lot, but when you start to try to manufacture like small batches of things with a home office, that is a huge investment to be like, oh, I'm spending like $1,000 on these paper products, but I'm also having to pay $200 for shipping. I've also been seeing some really frustrating comments from people who are replying to other small businesses who are updating their customers about everything going on with the tariffs. And I don't think a lot of people realize how long it's going to take to just simply start production in the US for so many products. Not only do we not have the means, like the infrastructure and the actual products and the workers, but that's not something where a company can just start and say, okay, well, I'm going to create that business for myself since it doesn't exist in the US, and then just immediately get that ball rolling. That could take years. There are so many specialties and little things that I don't even think the US is interested in making, to be honest. I think there's a cultural difference with what people produce as well. So for example, I heard from a stationery shop who specializes in making planners say that it's going to be nearly impossible for her to make her planners at a lower price point anymore because of the looming tariffs. There are manufacturers there who have an entire factory just dedicated to different color wire, and that would be for the binding of her journals and her planners, which was just so crazy for me to hear, but it just really put that into context for me, how much land and infrastructure and specialties that they have, the resources that other countries have already established. You're not going to find something like that here. Like that's crazy, right? Like even the paper manufacturers that I find here who make notepads and stuff, they're pretty limited with what they can offer, and that's because they have to source all those materials from elsewhere too, and then offer like combining those components to a bigger product to their customer base. So there are just so many moving parts to it, and I just think it's so disheartening to hear read comments from people who are just like, well, you should just make it here, like by yourself. It's like, this is a single artist who's trying to bring joy through like fun little trinkets and art that they create. Like, who has the means to just start an entire factory to make all the components that they need out of the blue? You know, it's just not a thing. And yeah, my heart goes out to all the people who are really feeling it already. I think I'm still kind of figuring things out as I go, and for the most part, I don't think my stickers have been impacted yet, but I know that other things are, and it will limit growth in a sense because there are a lot of products that I planned on outsourcing and testing out, things like reusable sticker books and enamel pins and even spiral bound notepads and notebooks and things like that, but a lot of them are produced with a lot more options in other countries, so I do already feel kind of limited in those ways. We'll just have to see how it goes. That's kind of where I'm at with all of that stuff. I have to check if all of these clasps work. These are all sealed back and front, so this is really nice. Also, they're all packaged individually, as you can see, which is amazing, and that is also a service that I don't ever see people in the US doing. So I think a lot of manufacturers in Asia will do this, which is really nice because they're protected and they're kind of ready to go. I've never seen individualized packing like this from a US vendor. A lot of them would just be really big paper companies, and I think that the quality and the care is different. And speaking from a stationery shop owner in the US, I do think Asia really leads the stationery world. because there is just a cultural difference with how stationery products are used in Asia. I don't know if paper products are used more heavily there, but the stationery market is just very different in my opinion, and always has been. So I do think that they have more of a reason to have the infrastructure to create these things because there is a market there. When I went to Japan, they had so many stationery products. If you go into a 7-Eleven, they have a section in a 7-Eleven for stationery products. They have index cards, pens, papers, some envelopes. They have all the basics there for anyone who's just kind of going in and out. And I always found that so interesting that even gas stations that have little convenience shops attached to them would have a stationery section. You would never see that in the US, but their lifestyle and the things that they value are just very different. And I do think that that really impacts the way that they develop and use paper goods, stationery products, and trinkets. Thanks for listening to my little soapbox. I'm gonna share all of the new designs with you guys from the last launch. So this is Bushi, is a returning design, but I got the dragon, my little derpy wood dragon, with a little copper moon clasp with stars on it. I'm so excited for this little guy. That's what it looks like, and it still has a coating on the front and the back that you have to peel. So you can't tell right now because this one doesn't have like a little scrappy edge, but you would have to like peel it off like this and then pull it off on both sides. I always share a video on the listing so that you guys know to expect that for the process. And here is how I pick which keychain I'm going to peel. I know this is so weird, but when I go through it, I'll always find one that's kind of like messier. So this is the film on top and the cut line is messy. So I'll use the messiest one I can find as my peel example, so that way the person receiving it doesn't have to get one that looks like this. It's not a big deal because you have to peel it off, but if I'm gonna choose one to peel off, I'm gonna pick the messiest one that I can find, if that makes sense. My Reaper keychains are back, and we need to go into the closet. Oh my god! This is never gonna get old. This is so crazy! They look radioactive. They are so freaking bright. Hold on. I don't know how I'm holding all of these in one hand right now. Oh my gosh! Okay, I was like, I really need to stop yapping and just organize all of the keychains. So I really pushed through with a little flow mode session and organized all the keychains. Here are all of the keychains that will drop together. This is the blueberry with the heart keychain. The burnt out but still optimistic is back with the moon. The horrors persist, but so do I with the star is back. I always put the hollow just on one side so that you can kind of see the image better. The Bee You're Doing a Job is returning as well with the matching star. The Reaper, I was about to say the Reaper, You're Doing a Job. The Reaper, You're Killing It with the star clasp. Obsessed. This is Bushi with the moon clasp. Live, Laugh, Love Kitty with a gold little kitty clasp. And my little derpy dragon with a moon clasp. These are probably going to go kind of quickly because the last few times I did a restock, they moved super fast. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot the pickle. Can't forget the pickle. I set it aside because I was using that as my little peel example. Look how beautiful and shiny it is. They do such a good job. I love them so much. So if you guys are email subscribers, you will be the first to know about any new drop and any special events or deals. So if you're interested in my art, please subscribe to Gem & Cozy's email sub list. I recently did a little birthday sale event and raffle, and I just packed that order for our winner Desiree, who got some extra stickers and a sticky note. So I just love that I have a little art community going on in my email subscription, And it's one of the best ways to support any business or creative because that truly shows who is willing to get mail in their inbox from this given company. So it really means the world that I have over 7,000 of you who follow me on email subscriptions. So thank you, thank you. And now I'm just gonna move on to some other things that I need to do. I have run out of space for all my keychains over here with my magnets, so Live Laugh Loaf Kitty is gonna just have to hang out with my Take Your Meds magnets. Hey guys, I'm editing this video a week or two later after getting the keychains, so Mother's Day weekend just passed. Every time I'm in a pastry shop, I feel the need to record all the beautiful pastries. So we picked up a few goodies from a French Korean bakery for Mother's Day. We were at Paris Baguette and they have the most delicious fruit tarts, but they ran out, so we ended up getting a Nutella one, which was really, really good. Anyway, this is footage of me getting ready for the launch, which actually happened earlier today. I feel like I need to make a separate video about everything going on with the tariffs because I did get some questions about how it's affecting my business. I think I'll save that for another video. Emotionally and mentally, I've been trying to focus on my short-term goals, and this week was crunch time with everything going on for this launch. I always feel like I'm going to forget something once I put it into the email for everyone who is a subscriber, so I make a million checklists to organize everything that I need photos for, everything that needs to be activated so that it's not an archived item or a draft item. I also take all of my photos and edit them, so it really is a very long and strenuous process when you have a lot of different and new items being launched at once because you don't have any photos or descriptions ready to go for the item. When we are doing a restock, it is so much easier since all I have to do is change the inventory and then put them into the email for existing item listings. Okay, I think I just finished everything. I posted across all my socials. I responded to early comments, and it is 1:17. I need to look up when I posted this email because I think I took at least 6 hours to prep for this keychain launch. So it says I sent it 29 minutes ago, which means it took about 30 minutes to post across all my social media, put it in my stories. So for everything I did yesterday for the quality checking start, organizing the sticky notes, getting the rest of the photos prepared for the keychains as well as the videos, putting the email marketing together and sharing everything on my social media, that took about 3 hours. And that doesn't account for me finishing the quality checking and taking photos of all of the defective items, as well as the amount of time it took to unbox all the keychains and kind of sort through them. A lot of these were restocks, so I didn't have to create new videos of me peeling or showing these keychains without the film. So I only had to do it for 1, 2, 3. And then I did a new one for the burnt out because I adjusted the design slightly and I wanted the photos to be updated. So keychains are probably the most time-consuming launch products I have ever done, but they are so sparkly and so beautiful. So I hope you guys love them. Let me know if you guys end up picking up anything, or if you're not shopping right now, let me know which design is your favorite. You ready to go outside? Go ahead. I don't know what it is, but I always want to walk when it's trash day. Like, I don't get it. I could walk any day of the week, but then when I'm always encouraged to, it's always trash day.